The day my son said, "You're a burden now," the room went completely quiet. Not dramatic quiet, worse. The kind that rings in your ears long after the words are spoken. He didn't shout. He didn't even sound angry. He said it casually, like he was commenting on the weather or changing a light bulb. I remember staring at the mug in my hands, watching the steam rise, wondering how someone I carried for 9 months could reduce my entire life to one sentence. I smiled. I nodded. I said nothing. That silence confused him more than any argument ever could. He thought I was weak. He thought I would cry later and call him again tomorrow. What he didn't understand was that something broke inside me at that table, something final. That night, I made a decision that would change our relationship forever. I didn't scream. I didn't beg. I simply stopped calling. And that quiet choice would echo louder than his words ever did. I raised my son alone after his father died young. I worked double shifts, skipped meals, and learned how to stretch $1 until it begged for mercy. Every scraped knee, every school play, every late-night fever, I was there. When he grew up, married, and moved into a bigger life, I shrank myself to fit wherever he allowed. Short phone calls. Quick visits. "I'm busy, Mom," became normal. I accepted it. I told myself this was love evolving. Then my health slowed me down. I couldn't drive as easily. I needed help with small things. That's when the patience in his voice disappeared. He sighed more. He checked his watch while I spoke. That afternoon, when I asked if he could help me schedule a doctor's appointment, he rubbed his face and said it. "You're a burden now." Not cruel. Worse, certain. Like it was a fact he'd finally admitted out loud. He expected tears. He expected guilt. Instead, I thanked him for his honesty. That scared him more than anger ever could. I didn't call the next day. Or the day after that. Weeks passed. I watched my phone stay silent, and I realized something painful. He only called when he needed something. After a month, I received a message. "Are you okay?" No apology. No reflection. Just confusion. I didn't respond. Silence became my boundary. It forced me to see clearly. I had been shrinking to make others comfortable. I stopped doing that. I joined a local walking group. I sold things I didn't need. I reorganized my life around peace instead of permission. 3 months later, my son showed up at my door. He looked irritated, not worried. "Why haven't you been calling?" he asked. I invited him in, poured tea, and waited. He talked about stress, responsibility, pressure. Finally, he asked, "Don't you need me anymore?" That's when the power shifted. I looked at him and said, "I needed you when I was useful. Now I need peace." He laughed awkwardly, expecting the old me to return. He tried harder after that. Phone calls. Offers to help. Invitations. But something had changed permanently. I no longer chased crumbs of attention. When he spoke sharply, I ended the conversation. When he complained, I listened without fixing. This frustrated him. One evening, he finally asked, "Why are you so distant?" I told him the truth. I said, "The day you called me a burden, you taught me how you see me." I believed you, and I adjusted. He went quiet, just like I had. He apologized, but it sounded unfamiliar in his mouth. Apologies don't erase awareness. They only arrive after it. I told him we could rebuild, slowly, with respect. Or we could remain polite strangers. The choice was his. For the first time, I didn't need his answer. I had already chosen myself. I slept better. I laughed more. I stopped explaining my worth. He still struggles with that loss of control. I don't. Silence, when chosen, is not punishment. It's protection. People think cutting back is cruel. They think silence is weakness. They're wrong. Silence is clarity. When I stopped calling, I didn't lose my son, I found myself. I learned that being needed is not the same as being valued. And anyone who calls your love a burden has already decided how much you matter to them. The most shocking part isn't that he said it. It's that I listened. And then I acted. Not with revenge. With absence. Today, our relationship exists on new terms, or not at all. And I'm finally okay with either outcome. Because love that costs your dignity is too expensive. And peace, real peace, begins the moment you stop begging to be treated like you matter.